Hi everybody. In the previous class we discussed the basic characters of the plant kingdom. Then we studied the classification systems for angiosperms, that it includes artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, and phylogenetic system of classification, numerical taxonomy, cytotaxonomy, and chemotaxonomy we discussed. Okay, so wherein all the systems that includes the plants, that is under the kingdom of Plantae. So depending on the type of pigment present and where they live, that is a habitat, we can classify all the plant kingdoms into since kingdom Plantae is the kingdom, after the Plantae kingdom is a division. So the plant kingdom is divided into algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Okay, so in this class let us discuss the division algae. It is division algae. Okay, so that is a division algae includes the unicellular to multicellular organisms. Okay, and the habit range from aquatic to terrestrial. Okay, so most of them are aquatic. In aquatic, both marine forms and freshwater forms are also there, and they reproduce by asexual method, vegetative method, and sexual method by isogamous and oogamous, and they have economic importance also. So many of the algae are used as the jelly substance. Okay, used in the preparation of ice cream and jelly-like substance. Then 50% of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is fixed by that algae only. So that lives in marine habitat. So this is the brief introduction of algae. So let us discuss in detail about about the division algae. Okay, so let's discuss with respect to its habitat. So habitat means where they are living. Okay, where they found or where they living. Okay, so then a habitat antive. So these algae, they could be found in aquatic habitat. In aquatic habitat as well as terrestrial habitat. Okay, aquatic condition allo idave, then marine aquatic ಮತ್ತು terrestrial ಎರಡು ಕಡೆನೂ ನೋಡೋಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ algae. Okay, so aquatic habitat ಅಲ್ಲಿ where do we find them ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so they can be found both in fresh water or marine water. So fresh water nallu irutte and marine water irutte, and the algae which are found in fresh water, mostly them are unicellular and filamentous. So unicellular irutte but filamentous irutte. So whereas marine forms, in marine you can find unicellular, multicellular, and kelps. So these kelps are giant forms. These are giant algae. ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತದೋ ಆಲ್ಗೆಗಳು ಜೈಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮೆರೈನ್ ವಾಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ ಟೆರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಟೆರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮಾಯ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸಾಯಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ symbiote. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಸಾಯಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಬಾಯಾಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಲೈಕನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಬಾಯಾಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ನೋಡೋಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದಾಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಪಲಾಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಲ್ಟಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕೆಲ್ಪ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಜೈಂಟ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ. ದೆನ್ what is the structure of algae? The habitat ಆಯಿತು. let us discuss the structure ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. So let us discuss the structure of algae. ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. Okay, so these algae maybe as already told they are unicellular. Okay, so unicellular irutte, then colonial irutte, then filamentous, ಸೊ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಹೌ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಈಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ algal cell consisting of cell wall. Okay, so this is a cell wall made up of cellulose. Okay, so suppose ಒಂದು algal cell ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, so let me take one simple example. So this is the shape of an algal cell. So where inside it has cell membrane like that, then it also has structure like this. Okay, so here inner one is cell membrane. After cell membrane is the cell wall. This cell wall is made up of cellulose. Okay, so this is the characteristic feature of the kingdom plantae. So plantae alliರೋ all organisms cell wall irutte, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Okay, cellulose is a polymer of glucose. Glucose unit ಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು, the glucose ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು it form a long chain called as polymer of glucose called cellulose. And this after the cell wall there will be a outermost covering. It may be made up of, in some it is composed of pectin, outermost pectin, and in some it is made up of algin. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಪೆಕ್ಟಿನ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಜಿನ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಎರಡು ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಐದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಪೋಸ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಕ್ಟಿನ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಜಿನ್. ಓಕೆ, so let's come to that unicellular. So this unicellular means that is an example for unicellular, or the diagram I already wrote, that is unicellular. It may be like this or it may be like this. Okay, so ಈ ರೀತಿ different shapes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So these are unicellular algae. Generally they have the flagella like this. Then come to the colonial. So let me give one example for this unicellular, such as Chlamydomonas. So Chlamydomonas is example for unicellular algae. Okay, so ಅದೇ ಥರ chlorella ಇರುತ್ತೆ, Chlamydomonas, then chlorella are the examples for unicellular algae. Then colonial. So in colonial many of unicellular algae are together. ಈ ರೀತಿ many structuresಗಳು, unicellsಗಳು, they are joined together, they form the structure like this. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲೋನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಲ್ವಾಕ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಯುಡೋರಿನಾ. ಸೊ ಯುಡೋರಿನಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ದೆನ್ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್. ಸೊ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್. ಈ ಥರ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಫಂಗೈ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಓದಿದ್ದು ಅದೇ ಥರ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. But it is not a hyphae, it is composed of cell wall and algin or pectin. So this filamentous example is Spirogyra. Okay, so Spirogyra is example. Then multicellular, of course this is also multicellular, but huge structures are also there. They have a different structure like this and huge structure like this, so it can grow up to 100 meter. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇರುವಂಥವು ಇದಾವೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಸರ್ಗ್ಯಾಸಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ದೆನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ದ ಡೀಟೈಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ these algae, they are belonging to different classes depending on their pigment present in them. So while discussing that chlorophyce, pheophyce and rhodophyce, we can detailedly study the structure. Okay, so ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ನ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So remember, cell wall consisting of cellulose and pectin in some organisms. Some organisms have cellulose and algin. Okay, yeah. So this is about the actual nature. And these algae may be already discussed. They are found in marine form or terrestrial forms. In terrestrial forms they may found on plant also. Some plants, dead and decaying organisms ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ sometimes they are reported. Okay, ವುಡನ್ ಲಾಗ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಆಲ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು the reproduction. So whatever the discussion we are doing with respect to reproduction is a general. Okay, so individually we can discuss under the classes. So reproduction, how the algae reproduce. So the reproduction as usual, three types. One is vegetative method. ಸೊ ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲೂ ಫಂಗೈನಲ್ಲೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಇದೇ ಥರ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಮೆಥಡು, ಅಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಮೆಥಡ್, ದೆನ್ is the asexual method, then sexual method. So all the three types of reproductive types are present in algae. Okay. Then come to vegetative method. So in vegetative method, reproduce by fragmentation. Okay, so that filamentous algae broke down into small pieces. Each piece can grow into individual filament again. Okay, so reproductive fragmentation. In case of filamentous algae, like Spirogyra ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ವಾ. So in such a Spirogyra, filamentous irutte. Each near the septa it undergo small fragmented. That fragment part again germinate to form a long filament again. Okay, so that is vegetative method. So of course we already discussed in this type in fungi. So the filaments septa irutte. So near the septa they are undergoing breaking and individual can develop into new algae again, new filament again. Okay. So next come to asexual method. So in asexual method, reproduce by producing zoospores. Okay, so while discussing kingdom mycota itself, we discussed what are zoospores. So zoospores are the spores which consisting of flagella. Okay, so flagella ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟರಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ propagules are called as zoospores. Okay, so zoospores are produced in a sac-like structure called as zoosporangia. So from the zoosporangia, zoospores are going to produce, and these zoospores again germinate to form new fungi. Okay, sorry, new algae again. That is asexual method in algae. Okay. Next come to sexual method. So this is a little bit elaborated. So elaborated method is there in sexual type of reproduction. So in sexual reproduction, there are three types as similar to fungi. So in sexual method, they may reproduce either by isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Okay, and during sexual method, okay, during sexual method they produce the gametes. Okay, so those gametes are of same kind, or the gametes are of different kinds with respect to their size and shape. Based on that, we have the three basic type like isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. So in case of isogamous, both gametes are of same type. ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಗಳು ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಪ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. Okay, so here this is the, let's consider this as male gamete and this as female gamete. So here both male and female gamete are of same type. Okay, so both have flagella. Both gametes have flagella. ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಐಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಐಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ. ಐಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ Chlamydomonas. So Chlamydomonas is example for isogamous type of sexual reproduction with flagella. ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so that is one kind. So and in the isogamous itself one more type is there. Let me discuss that one also. So this is male gamete and female gamete. So both gametes, of course isogamety, without flagella. Without flagella. ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ. ಓಕೆ, isogamous without flagella. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ Spirogyra. So Spirogyradalli during sexual reproduction they produce the gamete, but the condition is both the gametes are of same kind but without flagella. So with the flagella example Chlamydomonas, without flagella example Spirogyra. Okay. Then next come to anisogamous. Okay. So anisogamous andre both the gametes are same type alla. Two gametes are of different kind. ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಗಳು ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ವಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಐಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಈಗ ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್. ಸೊ ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ನೋಡೋಕೆ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ, ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್, ಆರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲಿ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as, that is called as ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್. ಓಕೆ, so in anisogamous let me take one example. One gamete is there, larger gamete, and another one is smaller gamete, right, little bit larger. One is having flagella, another one having no flagella. So this is anisogamete. So this is two different types of, morphologically different types of gametes. One having flagella, another having no flagella. So this is example for anisogamous. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ example ಯುಡೋರಿನಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಯುಡೋರಿನಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಟೂ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. This is gamete. Let's consider this as female gamete. So it is motile. Similarly, one more small gamete. It also has flagella. Let's consider this as male gamete. Okay, so two gametes are of different kind. ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿದೆ, ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ have flagella but differ in their size. Okay, so ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ with respect to their size they are different. Female is larger and male is smaller, and it both have flagella. So ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ is a fusion of two gametes which are morphologically different. Okay, that is ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯಾವುದಾಗಾದ್ರೆ, so example for this ಅನೈಸೋಗ್ಯಾಮಸ್ is Eudorina. Okay, so Eudorina is the example for anisogamous where both the gametes are of different kinds and both have flagella. But similarly, one more kind is there we discussed in isogamous. In isogamous, both have flagella with similar size, as in case of isogamous. Example, Chlamydomonas. both are of same kind without flagella, that is Spirogyra, that is also comes under isogamous. So anisogamous, this is one kind. So in anisogamous itself, one more kind is there where female is non-motile and static, male is motile, that become oogamous. So remember, oogamous is a type of anisogamous because in both the cases, two different kinds of gametes are going to be fused. Okay. So let's come to, so far we completed isogamous, next come to oogamous. So in oogamous, two different kind of gametes involved. ಎರಡು different kinds of gametes involve ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. The difference is, so difference ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ female is larger and non-motile. Female is larger and non-motile, whereas male is smaller and motile. Okay, so this type is called as oogamous. So in oogamous, female gamete is larger and non-motile. So this is female gamete, whereas male gamete is smaller and motile. So this is male gamete. ಸೊ ಇವೆರಡರದ್ದು ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನು oogamous ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ oogamous ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ fucus. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ fucus and valvax. ಫ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ವಾಲ್ವಾಕ್ಸು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ oogamous-ಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ this is about the type of reproduction in case of algae. Okay. Okay, so let me brief it with respect to example again. Isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous. So with respect to diagram, isogamous gametes are of same kind with flagella. Example, Chlamydomonas. Then without flagella, so without flagella, example Spirogyra. Then anisogamous. For anisogamous, one larger motile plus smaller motile. So ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ Eudorina. Then come to oogamous, larger non-motile plus smaller motile. So ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ fucus and valvax. Okay, so this is about the type of sexual reproduction, isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous in case of algae. Okay, yeah. So let us discuss economic importance of algae. Okay, so ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಆಲ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, at least 50% of the carbon dioxide fixation, okay, 50% of the carbon dioxide fixation. So carbon dioxide fixation is nothing but photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide fixation is done by algae only, okay, especially in marine. Okay, so marine, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಮೆರೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ 70% ಆಫ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಾಟರ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್, ಮೋರ್ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಅಕರ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ. ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ದ chief producers in aquatic ecosystem. ಓಕೆ, ಅಕ್ವಾಟಿಕ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ದ ಚೀಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಶ್ ಅಕ್ವಾಟಿಕ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಫುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತವೆ. ಓಕೆ, algae are the main food for aquatic animals. Okay, like zooplanktons and small fishes, etc. ಸೊ ಅಕ್ವಾಟಿಕ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಫಿಶಸ್ ಅದು ಝೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ದ ಚೀಫ್ ಫುಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಝೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಫುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೋಸ್ ಝೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ, ದಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ unicellular eukaryotes that don't have the properties of plants. And those are also comes under this algae. Algae are the chief producers of oxygen that increases dissolved oxygen. Okay, so algae photosynthesis ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ dissolved oxygen concentration increase ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. That is a source of oxygen for all the aquatic animals. Okay, some algae like Gracilaria and Gelidium. So these are the two algae comes under red algae. So we are going to discuss it in the next class. Some algae like a Gracilaria and a Gelidium produces hydrocolloidal substance called agar. ಅದನ್ನು ಅಗಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಗಾರ್ ಗ್ರಾಸಿಲೇರಿಯಾ ಮತ್ತು ಜೆಲಿಡಿಯಮ್ ಇಂದ ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಜೆಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಗಾರ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ microbial culture, used in microbial culture in the lab and in ice creams and jellies. Okay, so it is edible. Jellies ಮತ್ತು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಅಗಾರ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ one more group of organism such as algae called brown algae. Brown algae produces algin. Okay, ಇದು ಕೂಡ algin ಅಂತೇಳಿ. It's also hydrocolloidal substance. Hydrocolloidal substance used in ice creams and jellies. Same property. Okay, ice cream ಮತ್ತು jellies ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆಲ್ಜಿನ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so let's move to few more importance. Some brown algae and red algae. Brown algae like Sargassum, Laminaria and Porphyra. So these are the genus name. So these are the organisms comes under algae itself. Sargassum, Laminaria and Porphyra, and about 70 species can be used as food. Okay, so Porphyra, Laminaria ಮತ್ತು Sargassum ಜೊತೆಗೆ around 70 species ಅನ್ನ ಫುಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so this is one important. Algae like Chlorella and spirulina. So one more important point. So this spirulina was earlier in algae itself. So we are treating in algae also. Actually this is placed in Monera also, spirulina. So Chlorella and spirulina are the source of single cell protein. Okay, so ಇದನ್ನ single cell protein ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. used as food supplement. Used as food supplement for space travelers. Okay, so space travelers cannot carry huge amount of food. Okay, so that is why they carry these capsule formally single cell protein antivi. This Chlorella and spirulina are grown and they were collected, dried and powdered, and it can be filled into a capsule. It can serve as a single cell protein. Then SCP anta heltivi. It's a good source of vitamins and nutrients that can be carried by these space travelers. Okay, so nowadays this single cell protein like a spirulina is extensively used as a food supplement. Remember, it cannot be used as a main food. It can be used as a food supplement. Along with the food, it can give the nutrients again. Okay, that is single cell protein. Carrageen is a hydrocolloidal, one more hydrocolloidal substance. Isolated from red algae. Isolated from red algae that can be used as hydrocolloidal substance similar to agar. And finally alg oil. So there is called alg oil, can be isolated from algae. Algae ಇಂದ ಈ alg oil ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. algae it would be a future biofuel. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆಲ್ಗ ಆಯಿಲನ್ನು ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ದ ಚೀಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ವಾಟರ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, they are helps in enrich the dissolved oxygen content and make the organism to serve there. Okay, along with that they are the chief food for the aquatic animals. Algae can be used as a food by human also, like 70 species of algae including sargassum, laminaria and porphyra can be used as foods. Then hydrocolloidal substance can be isolated from red algae and brown algae that can be used in preparation of ice cream and jellies, and in the many bakery items we can use that jellies. So single cell protein can also be isolated from this algae. So once again I am going to repeat it. This is spirulina. Now it is in Monera kingdom. It is in kingdom Monera. Earlier it was in algae itself, but chlorella still it in algae. So both can be used as food supplement. Okay, food supplement as a single cell protein. ಇದನ್ನ SCP ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, spirulina tablet ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. It's a good source of vitamin and nutrients. Okay, so this is the importance of algae. Okay, so economic importance. So in future that algae oil can be used as the fuel. ಸೊ ಮುಂದೆ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಇದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಈಗಲೇ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಬಯೋಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ಓಕೆ, so this is based on the pigment and the type of residue food material in algae. So this algae can be classified further into classes like chlorophyceae, pheophyceae and rhodophyceae. So in the next class we can discuss the class, okay, in detail. Thank you.